groceries, utilities, just day-to-day stuff. This helps benefits keep pace, at least somewhat.
Okay, so 3.2%. In real dollars, what does that look like for the average person?
Good question. For your average retired worker, it works out to about $59 more per month. That brings the average monthly check up to around $1,907.
1907, okay.
And it's not just retirees. People on Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, they also get that 3.2% lift. Their average monthly benefit is now about $537.
So meaningful increases, even if not like that huge one a couple of years back.
Definitely meaningful for household budgets, yeah.
All right. What else is new for 2025? I heard something about the amount of income that gets taxed for Social Security.
Yes, the maximum taxable earnings limit. This mainly hits higher earners. It went up. In 2023, it was $160,200.
Oh.
For 2025, it's $168,600. So if you earn more than that, the money above $168,600 isn't subject to Social Security tax. But if you earn up to that amount, more of your income is now being taxed for Social Security.
But the actual tax rate itself didn't change, still 6.2%.
Correct. The rates are the same, 6.2% for employees, matched by 6.2% from the employer. And for self-employed folks, it's still the full 12.4%.
Got it. Okay, let's shift to people thinking about retiring soon, maybe before their full retirement age, but they plan to keep working a bit. The earnings limits there changed too.
They did. This is really important for timing your claim. If you take Social Security before your full retirement age, or FRA, and you're still working, there's a cap on what you can earn before it affects your benefits.
Right.
For 2025, if you're going to be under your FRA for the whole year, that limit is $22,320. That's up a bit from $21,240.
Okay, 22,000.
But if 2025 is the year you actually reach your FRA, the limit is much higher for the months before your birthday. It's $59,520.
59,000, okay. And if you go over those limits, what's the penalty?
Well, it's not really a penalty, more like they withhold benefits temporarily. If you're under FRA the whole year and earn over the $22,320 limit, they hold back $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn above it.
1 for 2.
Yep. And if you're reaching FRA in 2025 for earnings above the $59,520 limit before your birthday month, they withhold $1 for every $3 you earn over.
1 for 3, but only until you hit FRA.
Exactly. The key thing is once you hit your full retirement age, those limits vanish. You can earn whatever you want, no benefit withholding.
That's a crucial point. And speaking of full retirement age, that number itself isn't fixed, is it? It's been creeping up.
That's right. It's gradually increasing based on your birth year. If you were born in 1959, your FRA, hitting in 2025 for some, is 66 years and 10 months.
Almost 67.
Almost. And for anyone born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67.
And knowing that FRA is critical because taking benefits early means a permanent reduction, right? It can be pretty significant.
Huge. Claiming at the earliest age, 62, could mean your monthly benefit is cut by as much as 30% compared to waiting for your FRA permanently.
Okay, so those are the, let's say, concrete changes for 2025.
Yeah.
But there's this bigger cloud hanging over Social Security, right? The long-term solvency issue.
Absolutely. This is the elephant in the room, really. The official projections suggest the Social Security trust funds, the money set aside to pay benefits, could run out of reserves around 2034.
Run out. What happens then? Benefits stop.
No, not stop entirely. But if Congress doesn't act, the system would only be able to pay out what it takes in each year from taxes. And that's estimated to be only about 80% of the benefits people are currently scheduled to receive. A 20% cut, basically.
Wow, okay. That's concerning. What's driving that? Why the shortfall?
It's mostly demographics. A big factor is the ratio of workers paying into the system versus retirees drawing benefits. Back in, say, the mid-60s, you had about 4 workers for every 1 beneficiary.
4 to 1. Seems healthy.
It was today. It's more like 2.4 workers per beneficiary.
Whoa.
Then the projections, they show it dropping towards 2 workers per beneficiary by around 2050. Fewer people paying in for each person taking out. Plus, people are living longer, the median age is rising, so more people draw benefits for more years.
Yeah, that makes sense. We saw some advice, pretty blunt advice actually, from Dave Ramsey on how to think about claiming.
Yeah, Ramsey's take is interesting. He really pushes people to think about their own life expectancy. His line is basically, your retirement payments die when you die.
Meaning, don't just focus on the highest possible monthly payment.
Right. He suggests calculating your personal break-even age. That's the point where the total amount you'd receive from claiming early equals the total amount you'd receive if you waited for a higher monthly benefit. If you don't expect to live much past that break-even point, maybe claiming earlier makes more sense for you in terms of total dollars received.
It adds a different dimension to the timing decision.
Mhm.
He also waded into Medicare, didn't he? Highlighting how complex it is.
Oh, absolutely. And it is complex. He mentioned eligibility for Part A, the hospital insurance.
Okay.
Generally, that's premium-free if you or your spouse paid Medicare taxes for about 10 years.
Okay.
But Part B, for doctors and outpatient stuff, that has a premium for almost everyone, starts usually at age 65.
Right.
Then you have Part C, Medicare Advantage.
Private plans.
Exactly. Offered by private companies, often bundle prescription drugs, Part D, but you need to be enrolled in A and B already and live in the plan's area. And Part D itself, the drug coverage, has its own rules, premiums, enrollment periods.
Sounds like a maze. Initial enrollment, general enrollment, special enrollment.
Yeah, Ramsey's point was you really need to get educated before you hit those enrollment windows because missing them can mean penalties or delays in coverage. It can be overwhelming.
No kidding. Something else that popped up, kind of a wild card, was the potential impact of AI on how long we live.
Yeah, that was a fascinating little side note. There's growing talk, speculation, that advances in artificial intelligence could lead to breakthroughs that significantly extend human lifespan.
So people living routinely into their hundreds or beyond.
Potentially. And if that happens on a large scale, well, you can see how that would put even more pressure on Social Security. More beneficiaries drawing benefits for much longer periods. It adds another layer to the solvency challenge.
So given all these pressures, demographics, potentially longer lifespans, what are the fixes being talked about? And are any of them actually popular?
Well, there are options on the table, but popular isn't really the word for most of them.
I can imagine. Like what?
One is raising the full retirement age again, maybe pushing it towards 70. Another is increasing Social Security taxes on current workers and employers.
Higher taxes or working longer? Neither sounds great.
Right. And then there's the idea of means testing benefits more aggressively, like reducing or even eliminating payments for retirees with higher incomes, say over $100,000 a year, even if they paid in their whole lives.
That sounds politically tricky.
Extremely. All these potential solutions face major hurdles politically and with the public. No easy answers here.
Definitely seems that way. Okay, let's pivot slightly. There was talk about this one big, beautiful bill and how it might relate to seniors, maybe Social Security taxes.
Right, the one big, beautiful bill, often linked with President Trump. The key thing is, despite some talk earlier on, it did not end up including direct cuts to Social Security taxes.
Why not?
Procedural reasons, mostly. There's something called the Byrd Rule in the Senate that makes it very difficult to include changes that primarily affect Social Security in certain types of fast-tracked budget bills, which this was related to.
Ah, Senate rules. Okay. But wasn't there something in it aimed at seniors? A deduction or bonus?
Yes, exactly. There's a proposal for what's being called an enhanced deduction for seniors, or sometimes a senior bonus. It's about the standard deduction on income taxes.
Okay, how would that work?
It would basically add an extra amount to the standard deduction specifically for people 65 and older, an additional $2,000 for single filers or head of household.
$2,000 extra.
And for married couples filing jointly, it would be an extra $1,600 per person, so $3,200 total if both are over 65. And this is on top of the higher standard deduction seniors already get.
So potentially lower income taxes for some seniors. Are there catches?
A couple of big ones. First, it phases out. It starts reducing for individuals with an adjusted gross income, or AGI, over $75,000, and for couples over $150,000, so not for higher income retirees.
Okay. Income limits. What else?
It's temporary. As currently written, this enhanced deduction would expire on January 1st, 2029.
Ah, so not a permanent change.
Yeah.
And definitely not the same as just making all Social Security benefits tax-free, which sometimes gets floated.
Not even close. Eliminating federal taxes on all Social Security benefits, that would be a massive change. Estimates put the cost around $1.5 trillion over 10 years.
2 trillion. Wow.
Yeah. And some analyses suggest it could actually make the Social Security trust fund depletion happen about 2 years sooner because less tax revenue would indirectly flow back. So this senior bonus is much, much smaller in scope and, again, temporary and targeted.
And the whole one big beautiful bill.
Yep.
What are its odds of passing anyway?
Highly uncertain. It faces significant opposition, particularly in the Senate. It's definitely not something people should bank on for their financial planning right now. More of a wait and see.
Okay, this has been really helpful. We've covered the specific 2025 changes, the bigger picture worries, some potential fixes, and this tax bill stuff. Lots to digest.
It really is.
Yeah.
And understanding both the immediate adjustments like the COLA and earnings limits and these, longer term possibilities is just crucial, whether you're planning for retirement decades from now or managing your finances in retirement today.
Knowledge is power, as they say.
Definitely. Staying informed helps you make the best choices for your own situation.
So for you listening, maybe this is a prompt to pull up your latest Social Security statement online. See what your projected benefits look like. Maybe even try that break-even age calculation Ramsey mentioned.
Yeah, think about what it means for you. The future of Social Security has some big question marks, and being proactive is key.
And maybe think about what questions this raises for you. What parts of retirement planning, Social Security, Medicare are you still wrestling with?
Let us know. This is just scratching the surface, and we always want to dive deeper into what matters most to you.
Welcome to Financial Area. I'm Paul.
And I'm Rachel. For this deep dive, we're getting into some really important shifts with Social Security, stuff happening now in 2025, but also looking ahead a bit.
Yeah, trying to make sense of what it all means for your financial well-being, whether retirement is here, we're still down the road.
Exactly. We'll look at changes already locked in and then touch on some bigger potential shifts people are talking about.
Okay, so let's start with 2025. What's actually changed? First thing most people feel is probably the cost of living adjustment, the CLA.
Right. So for 2025, the CLA is 3.2%. Now, I know some folks might look at that and think, well, it's not the 8.7% we saw back in 2023.
Which was huge.
It was, but 3.2% is still a necessary boost. Think about rising costs, groceries, utilities, just day-to-day stuff. This helps benefits keep pace, at least somewhat.
Okay, so 3.2%. In real dollars, what does that look like for the average person?
Good question. For your average retired worker, it works out to about $59 more per month. That brings the average monthly check up to around $1,907.
1907, okay.
And it's not just retirees. People on Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, they also get that 3.2% RIFT. Their average monthly benefit is now about $537.
So meaningful increases, even if not like that huge one a couple of years back.
Definitely meaningful for household budgets, yeah.
All right. What else is new for 2025? I heard something about the amount of income that gets taxed for Social Security.
Yes, the maximum taxable earnings limit. This mainly hits higher earners. It went up. In 2023, it was $160,200.
Yeah.
For 2025, it's $168,600. So if you earn more than that, the money above $168,600 isn't subject to Social Security tax. But if you earn up to that amount, more of your income is now being taxed for Social Security.
But the actual tax rate itself didn't change, still 6.2%.
Correct. The rates are the same, 6.2% for employees, matched by 6.2% from the employer. And for self-employed folks, it's still the full 12.4%.
Got it. Okay, let's shift to people thinking about retiring soon, maybe before their full retirement age, but they plan to keep working a bit. The earnings limits there changed too.
They did. This is really important for timing your claim. If you take Social Security before your full retirement age, or FRA, and you're still working, there's a cap on what you can earn before it affects your benefits.
Right.
For 2025, if you're going to be under your FRA for the whole year, that limit is $22,320. That's up a bit from $21,240.
Okay, 22,000.
But if 2025 is the year you actually reach your FRA, the limit is much higher for the months before your birthday. It's